today. Yeah, I hope you guys cannot hear I hope you can hear the background noise. Someone is doing some renovations. Yeah, so I hope it's not so loud.
No, it's fine.
All right. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So today I wanted us to discuss about something I think that we talked about before, but now I wanted to speak about it in another sort of like dimension. So we once spoken about wellness, just sharing about tips on how, we just make sure that as an individual, you're taking care of your wellness. Yeah. So when we were, speaking, we centered so much around mental well-being, the mental wellness, and also our well-being health-wise. But today I wanted us to talk about it, from a financial sort of point of view, because I was reading and they're talking about how there are different aspects when it comes to wellness, because it has to be more like a holistic, like when you have when you talk about wellness, you have to speak about it in a holistic stance in a way. Yeah, so I just wanted us to speak about well-being when it comes to, let's say, finance, I would say in the financial sense. Yeah. So we want to talk about financial management, and just share some tips, maybe how what are some of those tips that you guys are doing, just to make sure that maybe you're handling your finances, however big or however small, just to make sure that when it comes to that aspect, you're very, I don't know how I would say it, but in a nutshell, just to say that you're managing finances well, or what are some of the tips that you've learned, or some of the tips that you've applied. I hear people speaking a lot of things when they're talking about how they're trying to save up for a trip, or some people are trying to save up to buy a house, or they're trying to save up for retirement, or different things. Yeah. So everybody has maybe different projects that they're working on, or different things that they want to work on when it comes to finances. Yeah, but I want us to talk about maybe just some of those tips that you guys that you guys have, that just help you to manage your finances well. Yeah.
Actually, I had a course in university about they were trying to teach us some simple thing about accounting and economics. Yeah, and they also taught us some tips on budget management. And actually, the tips that they were telling us was that they told us that you have to write everything that you spend in 2 or 3 months, everything, every details, how much you spend or how much you earn. So in this case, you know that. And also you have to separate them in under different titles. For example, food, clothes. I don't know if you spend something for learning or something like that. And after 2 or 3 months, you have an idea of how much you spend on everything. So after that, the next step was that so now you have to write something and make some budget for everything. So if you are using, for example, I don't know, some dollars on food, so you at at the start of the month, you tell yourself that, okay, this is the budget for food, and you try to stick to that budget. And for everything, every title of thing that you spend, you have to make some budget for that. You know, I did it. I wrote every expenses that we had for 2 or 3 months, and it was a hard thing because every day somehow we buy something, and I wrote that, and it was a hard thing, and but I couldn't go to other steps. I tried to do something about budget management or everything, but after a while, you know, I'm not good at these saving money things or these things, so I didn't continue that. But it was like this, and they told us that you have to save 20% of your salary.
Oh, yes, Terry, you broke a bit there, but please
Yeah,
continue.
sorry. And you have to save 20% of your salary and just spend 80% of it. And also they told us that you have a job that you work for money. So you work, and at the end of the month you get your salary and get your money, but you have to do an investment that money works for you. So you have to do an investment, and in that investment you have to make profit, but you shouldn't actually do a hard work or something. In this case, you can actually the value of your money can be kept, and also you will make some profit. You know, in countries like my country, if you do not invest, or if you just save your money and do not spend it, it is worse than spending it, because every year the value of the money becomes lower. So anyone that want to improve their financial statement, they have to invest in something. They have to buy something, and do not just save their money in our currencies. So I think this is really important to know some basics about financial things, so you can make a profit from what you are saving, and also you can improve your financial statement. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Terry. Yeah, I also believe that, budgeting is very important. Like, whether it's on a personal level, family level, or company, or whatever, it's very important to be able to budget. But I feel like most of the time the challenge is really like sticking to the budget. If you say that you're going to spend this amount on this, and as you were saying, Sitari, sometimes you find that every other day you're buying something and you don't even realize that you're spending so much money buying different things. But it's really important to budget. I remember one time doing some kind of like inventory. Like how, let's say, like you come back home after work, and then maybe you're feeling very tired, and you're like, okay, I'll not cook dinner today, I'll just order in. Yeah. And I think at some point, like at the end of the year, I was taking an inventory and realized that I'd spent so much money, just in that thing of, I'm tired, let us order in. I don't feel like cooking, let us order in. And when you actually take an inventory, just to really intentionally go through what you're actually spending money on, you might actually realize that money on certain things that you don't really need to be spending money on. Yeah. So I think apart from budgeting, like you say, I'll also say, just to take an inventory, yeah. And just to say, okay, this year 2022, how much money actually came to me. Yeah. And it's just something that for me, I began to do, and it made me a bit more conscious, that on how I spend money, just to it might not even be like at the end of the year, maybe after a few months, maybe see maybe, and sometimes it might not even be just salary, sometimes somebody could give you money, or maybe you could sell something and make money somewhere else. And then when you actually really take time to sit down and think, you actually realize, okay, I actually have this much coming in, and I actually don't have anything to show for it, because every time it comes in, I'm not sticking to a budget, or I'm not planning for it. So it just kind of, goes the way it came. So I think for me, being able to take inventory and really think about how much has come through to you, and how much have you spent. And these days we have different ways of getting, sometimes it could come from the bank, or come from your mobile, or sometimes somebody could give you hard cash. So sometimes, like, there are different ways to get that money, and sometimes you might not even really account for it here. So taking inventory and accountability. Yeah, and accountability. And I also say, if you're somebody who is like a shopaholic, like people who, love to buy things all the time, there's something that I learned, I think either from a podcast or a book. And somebody was saying that, when you feel like you want to buy something, yeah, sometimes you just need to especially when it's not like a need. Let's say, like, maybe you need to pay your bills, your rent, or whatever. Especially if it's not like a need, maybe you need a new dress, makeup, whatever. Yeah. And they were saying that, first spend like a week without buying that thing, and see if after you spent like 7 days, do you actually still need it? Yeah. And for me, it really helped me, because sometimes maybe you're scrolling through Instagram and you see this very nice quote, and then you want the quote all of a sudden. But if you give it 7 days, you might not actually want it. It's different from, let's say, food. You need food every single day. If you waited 7 days, you would still need the food. But like when it comes to certain things that are not necessary, really think about it. Yeah. So for me, those are some of the things that I really try to do. Like there's things that are not necessary. They say, like clothes, I like to plan and say, maybe I'll buy new clothes every quarter of the year, so that when you're buying the clothes, you're more intentional, not just buying it because you saw somebody wearing it, and then you probably wear it once and then you don't even want it anymore, but you've already spent the money, there's nothing you can do. So yeah, I feel like that, being intentional, taking inventory, and just being accountable, to yourself. And maybe just one last thing that I learned of recent, that somebody was saying that, when you're making money, when you're earning whatever money, make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Yeah. And they were saying taking care of yourself is not just what we call self-care these days, or you're going to a spa, you're going to this. They will make sure that you're taking care of yourself, in the sense that when you're old, when you're old and maybe you've chosen to retire, that you actually have an income and spend, your spending everything that you had, and now you're old. Yeah. So they're saying, make sure that you're taking care of yourself. So the things that you were saying, like investments, that is taking care of yourself. That is making sure that in the future, that you will be catered for, and not just living for just now, not just living for just this month. God willing, we'll be here for a very long time, but the decisions that we're taking with our money right now, they determine the kind of life that that you have years to come. Yeah. And for me personally, I don't really want to like work I'll say in corporate for long. Like, I would want to own my business at some point and be self-employed at some point. So I feel like that also governs like my choices, like the goals that I have. Yeah. So those are just some of my tips, yeah, personally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Good
so
morning, everyone.
yeah,
So, okay,
morning.
yeah. So, for me, financial wellness is how well a person can manage their financial life, right? So, I
Yeah,
do believe if you have a knowledge of financial wellness, like this is the ability for you to live a successful life in whatever you're doing. So, for you to have a successful life, first of all, one, you should make a budget in whatever you're doing. Try to have a budget as an individual. So if you have a budget, you'll be able to know what you spend in whatsoever thing. People will not come with emergency IM stuff, then they expect you to spend in your money. You will not do that because you already have a budget. Like Satari was saying here, she was mentioning about the a percentage wherein maybe if you're working, if you are utilizing about 80% of your finance, you should at least spend, I mean, you should at least invest or save 20% of your income. So that's what she was trying to say here. So for that, if you don't have a budget, you'll never be able to do such. So how you can make you can make a budget as an individual for you to live a financial wellness. Another thing also, you should be able to educate yourself. You should be able to educate yourself. You should not be earning a lot. Then after earning, you not educate yourself. Try to educate yourself. And as you all know, if you learn more, you'll be able to know. If you earn and know more, you'll be able to earn money. If you learn at the same time, you know, you'll be able to earn more. So that is the reason why it's very important for us all to educate ourselves when we are earning. That also incorporates financial wellness. And you should also be familiarize yourself with where you spend your money. You should be familiarize yourself with where you spend your money. We have people that whatever thing they ask them to spend in their money, they will just they, they will just spend randomly without even checking. If you lack a budget, you will not be, you will not know how to spend your money. But so that's the reason why you should familiarize yourself with where you spend your money. For now, Satari will not just call me, hey Noah, how are you? Please, can you send me this amount? No. You go broke if you continue to do things like that. You will go broke. So that is also another key fundamental for you to have a financial wellness. Know how and where you spend your money. And another thing here also is that get comfortable talking about money with others. If you discuss with people about how you spend in your money, you should be, you know, some people might not even speak about money. They're either afraid, shy, or so. But that's what I have observed. In my own part, people will not discuss about money. When it comes to money, it's like they're seeing you like you are bragging when you discuss about money. But you should have a plan, eh? You should have a plan or you should have a budget when you know. But in my own part now, people are seeing like you are bragging when it talks about money. So that's and also another way for you to be financial fit in whatever you're doing. Get comfortable about talking about money. And also another thing here is that you should save and also save and invest. If you are earning and then at the same time anything that you scroll through the internet that you want to purchase, wow, you go broke twinkle of an eye. Like just how Linda was saying here, if you are in the habit of scrolling through Instagram and then you see nice dress and then you want to put in for the amount, no, for it, then with twinkle of an eye, you go broke. So that's the reason why it's very important for you to save and at the same time invest. Invest in doing business. Just like you should not be working. Try to invest some amounts that you are earning in your job. That also will enable you to have a financial wellness. So you see, and as people may say, You should also be preparing, planning your retirement age for your retirement, and so. Well, so as of now, for me, I would say we are somehow young. Well, what we should be doing now is for us to invest more in educating ourselves, and at the same time invest for us to earn more. Okay, thank you, Linda.
Thank you so much, Noah. Thank you so much. Yeah, those are actually some great tips. Yeah. Yeah, it's very important for us to be able to speak about money and not be shy about it. Yeah, it's very, very important. Yeah. I also think another thing is that it's very important, like Satari was saying that in her university, they did a course on finances. I think it's important that even more than that, like if you know you didn't get to do a course or whatever, you can always pay for a course online or buy a book. It's just good to be able to inform yourself about about money. Just be able to inform yourself about those things. And I would say also another thing, when Noah was speaking, you reminded me of another thing, that we also have to know the place that we are at in life. Like, for example, like the place that I'm at is not the place that maybe somebody else is at. Yeah. And I think sometimes, especially I think like with people kind of like our age, like the younger people, like we like maybe look at Satari and I want to be like Satari because I've seen her having something, or I've seen I was seeing yesterday that the iPhone 15 is about to come out in about 2 months. So you see somebody with the latest iPhone and then you want to have it as well, but then you're not at a place where you can actually afford it. Yeah. So I think knowing that really helps you, that you know it, and actually making peace with it and working to actually get to where you are. So if I know that I'm not at a place where I can just afford upgrading my iPhone every other year, then I have to be comfortable with that and just work towards getting to a place where I can be able to do that. Yeah. Yes, I feel like that really helps, knowing where you are and just staying away from comparing yourself to other people. It will give you so much peace, and you'll be comfortable with what you have as you work towards getting to where you want to go. Because in this thing that I was reading, they were saying that for most young people, one of the things that is killing them like in a financial sense is wanting to be like everyone else, wanting to be like the next person. So it's just important for us to know where we are and make peace with that and work towards where we want to be. All right, before we close, let's hear from Jessica.
Yeah, hello everyone. Well, I don't I don't actually have much idea on this one, since I'm just starting out to manage my own little finances. But what I can add is I think we should also take note of who we lend money to and who we borrow money from. Out of experience, like my brother, he's like such a good person. Like whoever or whatever he has at that moment, if he can help somebody or lend somebody the money, he's always available to do that. But to actually like pressure the other person to pay him back, he just can't do it. He's like, no, just allow him. Maybe he's always making excuses for the next person. So I think if we have a bad lending habit, can also affect our finances. And also you borrowing like a lot of money from other people just because you want to get, like you said, unnecessary stuff or stuff you don't actually need at the moment, but just to satisfy maybe your social status or your friends or something, can also be bad, because at the end of the day you are going to like end up with so much debt, and then you are not in a good position to pay the next person. So I just think managing the lending side and the debt side is quite important as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jessica. Yeah, that's a very important point, because sometimes people will grow broke trying to help other people. Yeah, and as much as it seems like it's a noble thing, but if what you're doing is harming your own self, and I feel like that's not a very good thing. Personally, I really believe in if I'm going to lend somebody money, I'm going to lend them at this point in my life, I'll lend you money that I don't need. Yeah. So if I'll give you like $100, then I don't really need it back. So if I give it to you, it's really like, if you pay it, good. If you're not able to, because I think I'm like your brother, I can't follow up somebody to pay money. So if I give it to you, it's just in goodwill. You can keep it. If you want to return it, you can return it. So most of the time, like if you ask me for like $500 and I could only give you, and maybe I need the 500, but I could give you like 200 and say I don't need the 200, then that's what I'll do. I'll tell you I can give you 500, but I can give you the 200, and then it will be up to you. So I feel like that actually helps. Maybe that's something that you can do, because you're still helping, but you're not harming yourself.
Yeah, sure.
Give what you can live without. Yeah, that's like the easiest way. Otherwise, you will make enemies everywhere, because of money, yeah, which is not a good thing. Yeah. So thank you so much, guys, for sharing today. Yeah, I think we'll close our meeting for today.